With Coach Kevin McMillan, UT Martin women were in Pennsylvania, and Skyhawks played against Winthrop on Friday. Northern Kentucky was the opponent on Saturday. Coach, with these events, Thanksgiving Classic, you actually got to play 2 games in 2 days. Never an easy task.
No, it's we try to do it every year so that you can at least simulate for your players what it's going to be like in the tournament when you have to play back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the reason that we like it, is because you do have to turn around and play right back quickly. And, we did some good things and did some things very poorly. So, maybe we'll learn.
Let's talk about the game with the Winthrop. That was the first day. You win that one 79-74. Winthrop actually had the lead at halftime, 37-32. Talk about the first half of that game.
Well, Winthrop is very big. They've got 6'3", 6'1", and then 5'10", and 2 guards. And their post player absolutely destroyed us, had 30 points and 14 rebounds. And their point guard had 15 points and 14 assists. Most of all of those 14 assists were to the big girl. But Winthrop is very, very good. They're picked to win their conference, the same as Arkansas State and Quinnipiac. They're all picked to win. And Winthrop has had some good wins. Went to Florida Gulf Coast last year, at Florida Gulf Coast, and beat them. And so this was really a huge game for us. And first half was kind of a little bit back and forth. We didn't do a great job defending them. They kind of could do whatever they wanted to, and we were kind of out of sync. They played some zone in the first half, and we did okay, but not great. And then the second half, it really was one of the best halves of basketball that we've played offensively when Butler and Newsom don't have the ball in their hands a lot. And the result of that was 5 kids in double figures. And, we saw some scoring punch coming from a lot of different people. And I think that's the kind of team that we need to try to strive to become. And we've kind of started working on that. So you saw some things. They played the same kind of zone that we saw against Missouri and Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. And we didn't answer the bell on either one of those. And so this presented a little bit of a challenge. And what was really nice to see was the first half we kind of stumbled through, and we're working and trying to figure it out. And you saw early in the second half that they kind of got it, how to attack them, what to look for. And next thing you know, we're scoring 47 points in a half. And Butler and Newsom aren't getting a lot of those. Everybody's getting them. It was coming from everywhere. So I was extremely proud, but very nervous as we left that one, because usually when something you can check mark something that we've done well, mm-hmm. usually something right behind it's fixing to slap you in the face. And
which I guess happened the next.
Yeah,
day.
it was coming. But I mean, we really did play very, very good against Winthrop. Very good.
As you said, 47 second half points, and you also shot the ball well, 52% from the field in the second half, and 46% from the three-point line, and you got to the free throw line 15 times. So offensively, it's pretty obvious you were clicking.
Yeah, I mean, we were. And we only turned the ball over 13 times. Everything offensively. Elizabeth Massengale was in the high post and did an absolutely unbelievable job. Asia Jones did a great job coming in the low post. He had 12 points and 8 rebounds. And it really, really was a very good, balanced team effort. And we're striving to get that balance. And like I've told you 100 times, I know you think I'm a broken record, but anytime we can win right now, we're having to learn so much. Anytime we can win, it's going to be huge. And so what we're seeing is that we're able to put things together and win certain games, and then other games we don't. But I thought those two, along with Katie Schubert, were the difference in the game. Butler and Newsom pretty much did their thing, but you saw Elizabeth get 17 and Asia and Katie get 12 apiece. And between the three of them, that's how many points is that, Chris? That's 41 points. Yeah. And they took 25 shots. So if you're taking 25 shots and getting 41 points, that's a pretty dang good night. And they also combined for 8, 6, 5. How many is that? 19 rebounds. Mm-hmm. So you're getting 41 points and 19 rebounds from those three, and that's the difference in the game. And you're kind of going, golly, if we start doing that, we're going to be really good. So.
One of the players that continues to surprise me and do well from a statistical standpoint is Massengale. And I remember asking people before the season start, who am I going to watch out for this year? And everyone associated with the team mentioned her name. she does it kind of unassumingly and quietly, and you look down, and her numbers are fantastic.
She fills up a stat sheet.
Yeah. She had 7 assists.
She does everything for you. She had 7 assists, 2 steals, 17 points, 5 rebounds, and she's 2 for 3 from the free throw line, 1 for 3 from three-point range, 7 for 12 overall. I mean, she stuffs a stat line, and she does, and she's one of those great kids that comes along, kind of like Butler and Newsome, that she doesn't care whether she scores or rebounds or has assists or whatever, as long as we win. And when you don't care who scores and who gets recognition, usually you get taken care of, and you see that out of her.
Our 2 post players that have come in, Asia Jones and both Tiara Caldwell, are continuing to play quite a bit. Jones's numbers are getting better with every game, though.
Well, Asia has kind of figured it out. She's put together some pretty solid numbers, and she's kind of deceptive because she's only 6 feet tall, but her arms are about 6'2" and 6'3", and so she'll do some things that you really wouldn't have expected her to do. But we're asking her to play against 6'2s and 6'3s, and she doesn't have the experience yet to dominate those battles. The best that we can expect out of her right now is to hold her own. And if you told me right now that we could get 12 points and 8 rebounds out of her every night, you're going to take it in a heartbeat.
And one of the things that I've been impressed about her is her activity level.
She plays hard. She competes. She's not just going to stand out there and take up space. She's going to try to get things and get involved, which you see a bad stat, but really not a bad stat, is she had 6 turnovers in the game, and most of those turnovers were she was about to score a bucket or she was about to make a play and just can't figure out how to finish it off. She had 5 opportunities to catch it and finish layups that fumbled out of her hands or was just barely out of reach, or she walked when she got it or something. Otherwise, she would have had about 22 points and 8 rebounds, and it would have been phenomenal.
And she'll figure that out. We saw it with Rakisha.
Yeah, she will figure it out, and she will figure it out. And it took Keisha a couple of years to figure it out. It won't take Asia a couple of years to figure it out. I mean, you can see her getting better and better and better every day.
It seems to me that it takes post players a little bit longer to do that because during the flow of a game, they just don't have the ball in their hands as much.
Well, yes, that's a lot of it. An absolute ton of it. But the other big part of it is when they're growing up and playing in high school, they're the biggest player on the floor.
Yeah.
So they're not used to having to beat one big player and then beat another one and then beat another one. Whereas the guards, who are the little bitty ones, have been little bitty all their lives, and they've had to figure out how to compete, so they can learn to compete a little bit quicker than the post.
What do you do to simulate that in practice when, Tiara and Asia are your 2 biggest players on your team, but they can't just guard each other all the time? How do you simulate players that are 6'4" and strong? We
bring 6'4" guys in, and we play against them. But the only challenge there is the guys are inherently lazy, and so they don't play as hard as I want them to, and they think that if they play hard, they're going to whip them or hurt them or something. And I'm like, no, you're not either. You're going to simulate for them what they're going to see in a game, and we need you to do that. And I want them to block their shot and everything. They're kind of hesitant, and so, if you ever find a good guys team that can, we've got a good one right now that helps us some, and they've gotten better as we've told them we want you to whip them.
How do you find them? How do you find those guys?
Well, a lot of times it's people that we will have known just being from West Tennessee.
Yeah.
We've got a group now from Perry County that actually played together and maybe won a state championship together or something.
Wow.
There's like 4 off that team, and they're all here with us. And then we've got some that just don't want to do it because they don't want to. Who wants to go to practice every day?
Yeah.
So it's different. But we've got a real bunch of guys. The guys been real pleased have come to all the ball games and sat up there and watched. And it's really hard for us to pay them back for what they do, but they're a big reason why we get better is having to compete against them.
What a great opportunity, though. Look, I'm going to say this, and because I wasn't the great basketball player that you were, but there were times when, way back when Sharman Coley was the coach of UT Martin, and I was, I guess, early years at UTM, we'd come in and scrimmage against the girls' team.
How'd you do?
I was always surprised at how good the girls were, how quick they were. Because I think if you're a guy, you walk out there and your first thought is, I'm playing against a bunch of girls.
Okay. Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Last year, we brought in our guys.
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was a little bit late and walked up to Coach Haskins. And we were doing a zigzag drill, which is you take the ball and you stay kind of between the free throw lane and you go back and forth and have to guard whoever it is. And we were doing it full court. And so a guy comes in, he stretched over. I saw him come in, he stretched on the side. So he comes in, and the guys are going against the girls. So we're having to stop them, and they're having to stop us. Mm-hmm. And so he said, now, Coach Haskins, about half speed? Should I go about half speed? And he went, do whatever you think you need to. He went, okay, I'll take it easy. Okay, who does he match up with the first time for zigzag? He's a guard.
Jasmine?
No. Butler.
Heather.
And he matched up with Butler, and I promise you, I just kind of put my head down and just said, this is fixed to be funny. So the guy gets up there, he's about ready to go half speed, and we slap the floor so that everybody knows you're ready to play, then you go. Well, Chris, he slapped the floor, took one step, and then turned around and looked down the court because Butler was gone.
Oh, my goodness.
And as he was running back down the floor, Haskins went, may need a little more than half speed. So, needless to say, we tell the guys, we want you to go 100% and whip them. Yeah. So that way they know where the bar is set and what they have to do.
And be physical. I mean, that's what's so hard to simulate in practice, I think.
Yes, and well, you can't because you're trying to teach your kids not to foul and do things, and so you need those guys in there to be as physical as they can be. And our girls like playing against them, because it's a challenge. It's something different. But now we'll come back and play against each other just so we can work on guarding each other because we need to do that too. So it's kind of a balance.
And what I think has got to be really hard when you're guarding each other is that you guys know each other so well. You know your tendencies. You know your plays. I mean, there's nothing that's going to happen out there that you've probably not seen before midway through the season when you practice together so much.
No, and contrary to popular belief, a lot of people will say, well, you don't want your kids cheating to play the play on defense.
But that helps.
I tell them, I don't care what you do. Mm-hmm. Play the play because that's going to simulate what UConn would do when they don't know the play. They'll still be able to recover fast enough to do it. So I don't care if you cheat. We got to beat it anyway. So it never bothered me. But you want your girls to defend the way they're supposed to, and sometimes the competition will get the best of them, and they'll start, foul. We don't call fouls. Yeah. Trying to get them to be more physical, and sometimes they won't do things the right way. But basically, both ways, playing against guys and more competitive, and girls that are probably a little more worried about position and competing, both of those are very good.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back and talk about the Northern Kentucky game and look ahead to the matchup with Alabama on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network.